Nursing University is not testing your memory, it's testing something much deeper. I'm a final year nursing student and I'm a fourth year nursing student, and today I want to talk about what Nursing University really tests, and it's not your memory. The first point that I really want to talk about is the ability to stay calm under pressure. Now, being calm especially is one of a heck of a competence and skill that you will learn in nursing university. If you just got into nursing university, maybe first year or second year, you are developing being calm under pressure. Let me give you a story so I drive this home. There's one time where there was a big situation that happened to one of my professors. That was the first time where I really understood what being calm actually means. So one of my professors who was very educated in the nursing field, and he's a reanimator by specialty in primary specialty when he was a nurse. He was walking outside. There was a person who had a heart attack in front of him. Obviously, he's a nurse, so he's obligated by the law to help the person. That teacher, and because I know that teacher, he's the staying calm, whatever happens guy. He's the cold-blooded person. So what he did was absolutely what he should do. He went there, he did the CPR, he saved the person. He obviously the emergency and the ambulance came, etc. He went through the entire protocol perfectly. Now he's actually one of the subjects he's teaching is emergency and reanimation. His ability to stay calm saved him in that situation and helped him a lot, because it's a very high pressure situation, and more than that, also saved the life of the patient. And I can say, and I can go on a lot of stories, but really to drive this home, as a nurse, whether you are a nurse or nursing university, there's a lot of things that can happen. Pressure handling will all be your guy. Whether pressure in exams, so in theory, in lectures, in practice, inside the university, in practice inside the university, as well as internship. So all of these with supervisors, with nursing, with staff, with operations room. If you're entering the operation room, there's a large staff. We have anesthesia, reanimation nurses, doctor reanimation or anesthetic doctors, we have chirurgical doctors, residents, we have nurse, multidisciplinary nurse, we have a lot, and we have the internships. So the nursing university students in internship, and there's also med university or med school in also internship. So there's a large staff, and your ability to just handle that pressure, the ability to just act and don't really just react and impulsively under pressure is very big, and why nursing university really tests you at that. The second point that I really want to talk about is responsibility when real people depend on you. Responsibility, or I would call it more the real responsibility, is absolutely huge in nursing university. It's not only because you have a lot of responsibility of other people's life, but a lot of it is obviously the responsibility of everyone, including yourself and your colleagues. Different types of responsibility that you have to take on your shoulders, as well as your responsibility. And as they say, you know that quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. That is exactly suitable for a nurse. So you are a nursing university student, you have this power, you're obviously administrating the drugs, you're talking to patients, you're doing this, you're handling pressure, but also you have the responsibility that comes with it, because you're responsible for your acts, you're responsible for your decisions, you're responsible for everything basically around you, and you have a big responsibility for yourself, for your colleagues, whether in the same grade or even obviously who are also in lower grades, so your final year, someone who's in second year or first year, obviously you are responsible over them. I'd say the third point that really is big when it comes to what really nursing university tests is consistency over long periods of time. So consistency over long periods and not last minute effort. So consistency is one of a heck of a term, one of a heck of something that you really need to learn, especially in nursing university. I would say it's more real when it comes to theory, personally speaking from my experience. in theory, there's a lot of consistency that goes into it. Obviously, with the lectures, you have to be there every day. Obviously, I personally prefer to sit in the front row, listen to the teacher every single day. There's other students that are more in the laid back at the end of the class, watching a movie, and they go back. When they go back home, they revise. For me personally, I would say I don't like that. I would say a better management of my time is when I'm in lecture. I use that time when I go out of university. I can actually do other stuff, doing self-help, self-care. Can go to the gym. I can do whatever I can. So it's one of the most important things is actually consistency. And I would say also when it comes to practice. So as an example, I'll give a perfect actually example. Consistency really came clutch for me this year. As one of the services that I went through in internship this year, I went through the same service, the same local hospital last year. So I already knew the staff, I already knew the patients, I already knew the situations, I knew everything. I just knew the layout, I knew everything. And that really where consistency came clutch, because a lot of the stuff, and because I was consistent last year, this year it was really easy to continue. It was really just to keep going. I'll say one other point that really will drive this home with one of actually I would say one of my best professors in this year. He teaches us health. So there's health doctors or health medicine. So it's more of like doctors for medical staff, for nurses, etc. Right? Well, actually, it's doctors or medical help for all workers. This is like working medicine, to be more exact. And he's a doctor, and he has this thing that he does in the class, which is whoever answers a question, some of the questions that he chooses just randomly, he gives them bonus points. Now, I have a strategy, which is consistency, volume. I just answer. I don't care if I have 100 wrong. I have one right. It means I got a point. I don't care. And it really came clutch to me, because I remember in one lecture, I'm gonna be answering about 50 questions. I swear to God, I'll not. He asked a question, I'm like, this. He says no. This. He says no. This. This is no. And this is one of the advantages of sitting in the front row. It's easy to talk. So like this. One of them is right. You can't say 100 and all of them are wrong. And that came really clutch, as I was one of the most. I got a lot of points. That's the point. Okay. So really consistency. And the reason why I say this really became symbolism of consistency is that a lot of students that are pretty much, I know they're smarter and they're always first graded when it comes to theory, and first in class, they were more of like, I really want to get it right. I really think, and they didn't get the points. They didn't get more points than me. I was that much. So consistency really does matter. The fourth point that I really want to talk about from the bottom of my heart is emotional control in difficult situation. Now, emotional control is one heck of a big word. You're like, emotional control? Isn't this more used in relationships? Is it more used in like marriages? No, but emotional control is very diverse. What I really mean here is emotional control, especially in two situations. One, emotional control in exams, and emotional control with real patients and pressure that comes with internships, so like real patients. The first one is the exams. You have to control your emotions. I do it in a way where I have a strategy. So before the exam, I lay down a strategy. I'm gonna say, okay, or before the semester actually starts, I'm gonna say, okay, so in this semester, I'll make sure that every lecture of the semester, I'm gonna say in the front row, I'm gonna have just one paper, one pen, and I'm gonna talk to the teacher. If you ask a question, I'm gonna try to answer. I'm gonna just answer even if I'm wrong. And I make sure that the teacher remembers my name. Good strategy. Okay, what about the exam? I would say, okay, and because I was going to every day to the lectures, I'll make sure that at least I'll prepare for 1 to 3 hours in the last 24 hours before the exam without compromising sleep or health or food or any of my self-care. So this layout just removes all the friction for me. And that helps me a lot with emotional control. So even if I'm emotional, I'm like, okay, I'm being emotional, which is fine, I accept it, but I just go back to my baseline, I just follow my strategy. Now this is for exam. What about internship? Here will come the real emotional control. A lot of the situations, as an example, one of my friends, one of my colleagues, we were in an internship, and he was actually administrating the medicine, and he was talking to the patient, and for some reason the patient sort of controlled the conversation, and my colleague really felt uncomfortable. So in those situations, emotional control is very big, because with the patients you are the front row, you're the header of the medical staff. You're talking with the patients, you're making them comfortable, you're making them trust, you're making them feel safe, you're making them feel heard, everything. Obviously, you're administrating the drugs, the medicine, you're doing the acts, you're doing this, you're taking care of the patients, etc. You're handling pressure, but it's really big, especially in nursing university, and that is a real test in nursing university. Final point, or the fifth point that I really want to talk about, is willingness to learn, willingness to learn from mistakes instead of quitting. Learning from mistakes is a big one in nursing, as you will make mistakes. If you are a first year university student, you're obviously making you're making an absurd amount of mistakes. It shouldn't even it's unfathomable. So as you're going, you're like, okay, I've done this mistake, and my colleague has actually corrected me on it, or the nurse, or the supervisor, or the professor. Actually, what tend to actually happen is that if you don't learn from your mistakes, the chances of you repeating the same mistakes is the highest in comparison to all the other mistakes out there. If there's two students, this one did mistake A, this one did mistake B, the chances are this one will also do again the mistake A, and this one will do again the mistake B, except if they learn. And learning is really easy. You're just like, okay, well, this is what I done. I'll make sure that next time when I do this, it's one of my priorities is just not to do that mistake. Okay? And if there's another mistake that pops up, you do it again. You're like, okay, my priority is not to do this and this, and keep going. And that's how you go, and that is a very good feedback cycle, by the way. Now, let's do a quick recap. 1, nursing university tests your ability to stay calm under pressure, your ability to take responsibility, your ability to stay consistent instead of just one time, not long lasting effort, your ability to control your emotions, and your ability to learn from your mistakes. Now please let me know in the comments down below, write down what's the biggest problem that you're facing in nursing university, and I'll make sure that I'll make a video about it showing you how I fixed it myself for myself. Thank you.